Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. If you're here for the first time, then that's awesome. Welcome to you as well. My name is Aaron. I'm going to be doing some modeling. It's Friday. It's SketchUp time. It's good. We're going to hang out, model, have fun, and with me today is my buddy Eric.
Hello, everyone. I'm just reading my name tag for the first time that I guess I am a professor for this one, so I'll take that. I've been known to teach some courses like, excuse me, SketchUp Campus from time to time. So
Plug.
thanks for having me co-hosting with you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We made it. We made it to the end of the week. We made it to the first weekend in August. Well, first, kinda. I guess we had a little bit. We split the last weekend, right? No, I guess that was a full weekend. Never mind. I was on vacation then, so it didn't. I don't know. It didn't register. But
You're on cruise time still, so you got to reorient back to
oh
SketchUp
man,
time.
yeah, I got to go spend some time up in Alaska. That was pretty sweet. Uh, but yeah, a week off and transitioning back to work's rough. But doing it. I'm here. We're gonna have some fun. Um, so yeah, got some shout outs coming from all over. Where are people coming in from, Eric?
Oh man, all over. We've got our usual, what I call our usual suspects from England and the UK. So hello everyone, welcome back. We've got Norway, Florida, Iceland, Massachusetts, Sweden, New York, Colorado. All right, so we got a good, and we got Ahmed who's always tuning in from the Middle East. Ahmed, I forget where you're from. Are you, I want to say Syria. So it's kind of represents that part of the world. So definitely love the international audience, love the returners, love new people. I love the mix.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with us, and thanks for coming in early. We had what was it, 24 people waiting when we started the stream. Whew.
Yeah, and three, you said three this morning. And I was like, well, this morning for us, we're on sort of West Coast and Mountain Time. So this morning for us was several hours ago. And that's dedication. You can get up early and jump in line. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think Colin messaged me this morning at around 7:30 and said there's three people waiting on the stream. uh, Unfortunately, at that point in the day, you're gonna have to just wait. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do
We
much of
can't
that.
start. We can't start early. We got to stick to our schedule.
That's right. I don't. I mean, I'll hop on a few minutes early if need be, but yeah, not then. All right. So we're gonna do some live streaming or some live modeling today. We had the request come up to model a construction detail, which is kind of cool. There are, if you go into 3D Warehouse and search for construction details or framing details or something like that, there's a whole lot. People have gone in there, made some amazing. I mean, I think the American Concrete Institute, I think it is, uh, published a whole bunch of concrete details in there. And then, of course, we've seen classes and presentations from other people like Nick Sonder, who does all of his details in 3D and in SketchUp. So we've seen a lot of it. We've never, I don't know that we've done a whole lot of it, but I thought that sounded like a fun one. That sounded like a good time. So here's what I did. I grabbed a 2D detail that I found on the internet, and I'm going to bring that in and use it as just kind of a basis. I was thinking at first, like, we'll pull or dream up a situation, and then we'll frame it, but that has a lot of potential to go places that aren't as helpful. So I figured out working off of a specific detail, looking for a specific thing to detail out would be the way to go. So I'm going to pull that 2D model up, or that 2D image up, and then we'll create the 3D details from that. I'm saying this because I do want to disclaimer one thing. It has been over a decade since I've done actual construction details. So I would like y'all to help me. If there's spots that I need to put things in, that's great. But if I do miss something, if I miss a piece of flashing or vapor barrier or something like that, please understand that we're trying to spotlight the process more than the actual detail here. So yeah, so take what you learn from the process and then go do it better than I do. That's the goal, is that this enables you to do a better job than the thing that I throw together in the next hour 45. So yeah, let me hop over here. So speaking of which, I did just mention this, but one of my first things I did in CAD, which is back, I think it was in AutoCAD 11 was actually drawing up 3D light gauge steel framing details. So I went in there and from a 2D drawing in flat in 2D space created isometric 45-degree views of framing members coming together and how that was supposed to work and detailed it out. So this is kind of a throwback for me. This is where I came from. This is where I started using CAD actually. Eric, you said you've done a little bit of detailing in the past, in lives past.
Yeah, you know what? I'm in the same boat as you. And first of all, I want to say I'm kind of jealous that you beat detailing to me because I was thinking in my head, man, it's been so long. This would be actually a really cool stream. We are due for it. So you did a little jealousy here, but that's okay because we can always do detailing more than once. But
That's
yeah,
right.
my background is, like a lot of us, I think, starting in CAD. And so all the details are drawn, as you think about it, hatch patterns, you go in and you're looking at line hierarchy. So all that stuff is still kind of important for legibility in 3D, but obviously we're modeling one-to-one. So in a way, it's really interesting because you get to both deconstruct and construct and build up. Do you know what I mean? Like if you think about peeling the layers back, like you're cutting a section slice and you get to kind of decide how do I want to show this? And a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity that you do not get in CAD. And so that's why I'm excited to not just watch, but give this a go afterwards myself.
Yeah, absolutely. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. This is gonna be good. We're gonna enjoy this. We're gonna have a good time. I'm just keep saying that over and over again until it comes true. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be fun. All right. So again, I'm sorry I don't want to reiterate this too much, but I just want to. I feel like the comments afterwards sometimes miss some of this stuff, but what I'm doing here, this may not be the perfect detail. It's something to point out. Something I learned from training people all over the world is not everybody builds the same everywhere, right? It's different. How we do it in Colorado is different from how it's done on the East Coast and the West Coast. Canada builds different from the United States. You travel overseas, stuff changes significantly. So I would just like a little just suspension of, I would say suspension of disbelief. That's not really the term I'm looking for. But acceptance that some of what we're looking at right now is maybe not exactly going to land exactly how you would do it, but know that it's the process we're looking at, not necessarily the detail that should be as important. So
on that note, though, are you kind of for some background? Are your experiences in Colorado or United States? So is it sort of that's kind of where you're coming from? So like if you're going to make a decision about something just from instinct or from making it up on the spot, then that's kind of where you're drawing from.
Exactly. Yeah. If I defer to what I've done before, it's probably because most of the design work I did was for mostly Colorado, but mountain states for the most part. So maybe a little Nevada, that kind of thing. But it was around near where I was working from in Colorado. So yeah. So again, roll with me, I guess is what I'm asking for. Just roll.
We're gonna cut you some slack. If I see something that doesn't work in South Africa, I'm gonna go ahead and let it slide. I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire on that one.
I can't ask for that. There are national and international building codes. Yes, Earl, that is true. But honestly, like I said, I don't want the thing being taught here is not necessarily how to design this out perfectly so it satisfies such and such code. It's more how to use SketchUp to draw the thing in 3D. I'm gonna let you guys insert your details into this detail process in the future. So that's what I'm going for. That's right. Lawrence has it. He said if we were just dealing with Lego, it would all be the same because yeah, they don't change. Doesn't matter.
Wouldn't that make it easier if everything was just modular and just clicked into place and you're just like, hey, it only has, are we going by 2x4 or 2x6? You know what I mean? Nice. How many studs do we need for this one to build this wall? So what is it that I know you're going to get there. I'm jumping the gun just because I can't wait. I'm impatient. What's this construction detail showing?
So I grabbed this detail. I didn't draw this detail. I did grab it. So the things we have here is we have a foundation wall sitting on a sill here, or a foundational section. This is block wall, which is actually something I haven't done a whole lot with, but block wall, foundation wall. It's gonna be a little bit different detail, but that's about it. I do have a slab sitting here on top of, we got some some gravel here with a pipe, and then earth. It does frame up and then has a some sort of, there's not really specifics of what these materials are, but some sort of wood floor framing and then wood wall above. We do have a brick ledge here, so this brick sits here. We're gonna have some sort of a membrane or something between the two. So this is the kind of detail that we're gonna look for. I don't know how much, I was looking at this and I was thinking as far as 3D details, this is probably like 1, 2, 3, 4 different details coming out of this one detail page that we could potentially do. I'm gonna start modeling at this corner where I have the block coming in and sitting on the foundation. We'll just get this all modeled up initially and we'll just start building. We'll make as many details out of this as we can. And we'll just see how the process goes. I don't know. I have not. You guys know that Eric, Tyson, and I, the streamers, and now Matt as well has started doing some streaming. We all kind of handle this differently. We come into this with different mindsets. Personally, I like to show you guys just the raw process of modeling from scratch. I don't like to do things like prepare too much because you guys don't want that. I've found that like some of my favorite streams are the ones where stuff goes wrong and we have to figure out how to get through it together. So in that spirit, we're just going to hop right in.
He's basically saying that it's okay. Like, let's see what goes wrong. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm the opposite. While you're getting set up and cut me off if you need to explain what you're doing. But yeah, to Aaron's point, Tyson and I are a little bit more of those, like, let's do this once, to make sure that it kind of does what we think it's going to do, rather than do it for the very first time on camera. But I love the risk taking. I love the confidence.
That's right. That's how we do it. Yeah. So I'm also not going to get too terribly hung up on dimensions. I like when I'm drawing stuff to come up with, approximately right dimensions. This is scaling to about 2 foot. So I'm going to say 24 inches here as I create this first chunk of foundation. And it looks like it's about 12 inches deep. But I'm not going to get too hung up on it. The other thing to think about as we do start detailing out pieces is in a 3D detail, some stuff is not going to be to scale. People shouldn't be sitting down with a physical scale on plans and scaling details. Important information should be on there, but also in a general construction detail, the actual information might change building to building. So I just drew this, excuse me, this footer right here as 12 by 24. Depending on the requirements of the engineering or the site, that 12 by 24 might actually change. So like here it says 24 inches minimum by 10 inches minimum. So that may actually change. So the other thing that gets changed a lot is the scale of really thin things, right? So Tyvek house wrap is, I can't remember, fraction of a millimeter thick, right? It's really thin, it's paper. When you draw it, you might have to draw it like a millimeter or two thick just so you have the visibility, so you don't have bleed through, and so that we have something that you can actually see and identify as opposed to just a flat plane or a virtually flat plane. So I'm not going to get saying all that to say I'm not going to get too hung up on that specific part here. All right. The other thing I'm going to do as I go through here is every single piece of this detail is going to be its own group. I'm not going to do a whole lot of tagging in this one because the whole models, I'm not at this point. And again, this might be something that maybe Eric picks up in a couple weeks and does his version of this. But for what I'm doing, I just want to get the separate pieces there. So what I'm going to do is each piece is going to be tagged on its own. Each piece I also want to put a material or a color on. So I'm going to put this up here. This is maybe weird for some of you who follow me modeling. This right here is the color dialogue. It's what you use with the paint bucket.
Might not be a first, but it's definitely in what we call the rare use case.
I don't do this a lot. Enjoy it.
All right, let's timestamp this. Okay, I've got it. It's going in the record books. All right, continue.
All right, thank you. So we're going to throw some concrete on here. we have two colors, two lighter and a darker concrete. I'm going to use the darker concrete, put it on here, and then I'm going to start by pulling this up 12 inches. And that's initial. So I'm going to right click that, make that into a group. So it is 12 inches right now. As we create the full detail, the depths of those things are going to get, they're going to change. They're going to be different.
This is like a starting point, and then you'll make those adjustments because you need to have something. It's kind of like when you think about an architect, it's like a massing model, right? You got to start with the form, and then you look at it and say, okay, this needs to kind of tuck in or this needs to pull out.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're going to look at. All right, so I got a couple things here. I have 2 drain pipes. So I'm going to put those in first, do a circle, come into about the middle, pull this up, see where that is at. All right, so it's about a 2-inch drain pipe, or no, 3-inch drain pipe. So let's go to 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to offset that a little bit. Again, at this point, I'm not really concerned about having this be the exact depth or thickness, wall thickness of the pipe. More, I want this to be able to be visible. There we go.
That's a good point. And I was going to say this when you're doing your intro, when you're, is that a lot of times you'll draw for visibility and then you'll notice all the stuff off to the side, you know, the text, the leaders, the dimension lines, all that stuff will actually tell you how big it is. So you have to, no one, like you said, no one's going to scale and say, oh, that pipe is 2 inches. You're going to read it.
Right.
It says that's a 2.5-inch diameter pipe. And even if the drawing is 3-inch diameter pipe, again, no one will know and no one cares because they're going to read it, not measure the pipe itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, of course, you're not doing text. I wanted to say, because a comment came up about, I think in layout, is that your plan is not to go, you might have said this, to go into layout today. You're just modeling, and then all the additional information, right? This is only like part 1 of construction details, because there's so much stuff that needs to come in over the top, and that would be annotations. We don't do that in SketchUp, folks. If you're tuning in for the first time, we do that in layout.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, so I got those 2 in there. I gave them a green color. Something I want to say about 3D construction details. So in a black and white detail like this, you see that there's no color. That's why it's black and white. It's a line drawing detail. So there is no stuff in here. I would say that if you want your details to be as legible and immediately apparent as possible, don't get too hung up on real life material colors. If you really break it down, everything from the sill plate down is pretty much gray. It's gray, it's black, it's earth color. It's not going to look great. So doing something that sticks out a little bit, like these pipes specifically, let me show you why I chose green, because I want those to stand out against what I will use as like a very earthy, reddish, dark brown color for this gravel fill. So as I come in here, I'm just going to kind of come in and just trace a shape that kind of matches what's here. And then I will give that, let's go look at what we got for some gravel colors, landscaping. Here we go. Here's a nice clean gravel. That's a little too big. Yeah, I kind of like that one. But you can see that green stands out against that rock color. So that end pipe, I have no idea. It's probably black, right? Most plastic pipes are white, or it's just going to sit under the ground. But by doing it green, it's going to stand out a little bit more against these other pieces. I do want, as I pull this up, I don't want this to like show through the pipe so much. So I am going to come into this piece, grab this circle, just the edge, Command C, come back out here, edit, paste in place, and that'll cut the face of that. And I can just delete that, bring this up. Maybe I'll bring this up 9 inches instead of 12, so it overlaps like that, and make that into its own group also.
So you don't want soil inside the pipe.
I'm working off of antiquated information. Like I said, things may have changed since the last time I did this sort of thing, but I've heard.
It makes sense.
Yeah. We want to stay away from that. So, all right. I'm just going to take this part way across like this. I'm just going to get our fill materials here. And then same thing, I'm going to come in here, grab this, Command C, come out here, edit, paste in place, delete that, and then I can actually pick this, fill this here, and we'll pull that up to the same height and make that into its own group. So already, we haven't got that much done yet, but you can already see how this is starting to come together. This is kind of looking good.
I mean, the depth, you're right. You've got depth, and that's the big difference just in those three pieces: pipe, soil, and footing. And now you can kind of look at a different angle and say, okay, well, which camera angle sort of shows this the best?
Right. Yeah. So as I'm doing my detail too, and this is all tipped down, I'll tip it up so it moves around more naturally. But yeah, I'm going to be able to choose if I want to look at it more from the side, if I want to look at it from the top. Depends on how this stuff all ties together. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this slab on here, and I just want to point out one thing right now. So there's a couple things. So it is calling out this slab, 4-inch, at least 4-inch concrete, that kind of thing. There's an option here for a French drain. One of the things I would point out with this that I can do right here is, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I don't like drawing on the ground very much. So I'm going to go to right here where it starts, and I'm going to come up 4 inches, and then I'm going to come back. Let's come back here, come down 4 inches, and then I will fill with that same material because it is the same material. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to offset it by a specific amount. So I'm not just tracing whatever's there. I'm going to give it 1/2 inch. And I'm going to bring it up like that and triple click that to make it a group. And the reason I'm doing that gap is, well, actually now I'm looking at it, I'm like, maybe I don't want that gap. Maybe I do actually want that to rest like it would in the real world. So I might actually take that right back down like that. And if I want an offset, I'll do that vertically by like bringing one of these pieces up or back to show that overlap. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
That's a good point. What works for a 2D section cut maybe doesn't apply to what you're doing in 3D, where you get to use that,
right,
your artistic license and your judgment.
Yeah, this is a different way to show these things. All right, I'm gonna work my way up with my concrete block wall. So you see, everything I've done so far has been an extrusion, right? So this has been a flat face and then just push-pulled up. And we could probably do that for almost the entire rest of the model. Like there's a couple pieces, cross-bridging, wouldn't be an extrusion. If we do this anchor bolt in, that wouldn't be an extrusion. But everything else, our joists wouldn't be, well, they'd be extrusions in the opposite direction, but everything could be drawn as an extrusion. Because we're going to look at it in 3D, I want my cinder blocks, my block wall here, I want them to be actually viewable in 3D. So I want to create, and I think, Eric, both you and I have done modeling brick wall videos at some point. Is that right? Because you did one, right, too?
Yeah, I looked at like bricks 3 ways. Especially if you're going to Viz, then you can cheat the system and use PBR materials. So in this case, you are not going to Viz.
Nope, no Vizzing. We're Viz-free around here.
That's right.
So I'm going to throw out a couple suggestions on how we could do this. I'm going to start by getting a brick in. Like to start by actually having a thing to work with. Old-fashioned that way. All right, so I'm going to call this 12 by 8. There we go. And then my interest, or what I want to do then, is pull out one brick. What is 1.5 inch? Is it 20 inches, 18 inches? Let's say 18. I'm going to fill that with a different concrete.
So what's the inside? Is that cinder block or is that poured in place concrete, right? Because it's brick lined, but there's got to be some sort of structure in between. Is that what you're doing first?
Right. So it's calling out build block because I guess that's what we could show too, right? So I could come in here. I don't have my dimensions on this at all, but let's just wing this. Details are, because I could. It's easy enough. Oops, lost my face. Whoa. Oh, because I'm not. All right, I'm gonna have to do. I was wondering if this was gonna eventually get to me, and it did. It just got to me. I'm modeling this like it's upright on the ground, but there's no reason to do that. That's just working harder, not smarter.
I was corrected in the chat that we're supposed to refer to cinder blocks as CMU.
That's right.
So that goes to show you. See, I'm landscape architecture, so like this is where I would pass off, anything that is actual structural. I would say, let's bring somebody else in on this.
There you go. All right. So again, I'm just detailing the CMU shape. See how I did that? Yeah, and this is the other thing. So again, I'm working off of what's here because this is calling out a 12-inch block. So I don't know. But anyhow, I'm going to make that into a group.
That's good. I'm with you.
It's going to work. It's going to work. All right. So then this is where I'm going to be a little bit off. Well, actually, I do want to put that back up there. How far off? I want to be exact.
Oh man, the chat's active. They really like getting into details. I'm surprised because I avoid it like the plague. Like I don't want to know. I don't care if it's 1/8 inch. I don't care if it's 1/4 inch. And then whether it's broom finished, it's perpendicular, parallel to path of travel. Let's let somebody else make those kinds of decisions. It's in the specs. I usually say it should be in the specs. But I love that we've got some people who geek out on that stuff because ultimately someone has to care about that level of detail because you're building. It's got to be built at the end of the day, and it's got to be communicated to the person who's building it. So
that's right. All right, I'm going to copy that up 4 courses, and then I'm going to grab every other one. And here, first I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw a line in the middle, and then I'm going to draw another line 3/16. I'm going to take those, and I'm going to I'm just going to move them over there. Whoops. Move them. Whoops. A lot of whoopses. Whoopses are happening.
Yeah, and you're not wearing your whoops shirt today, so
no,
okay.
I really missed an opportunity.
You can still do a whoops even if you're not showing it off in text.
Right.
Yep.
All right, there we go. Grab these 3 and slide them back this way. It's going to be 18 and 3/8. All right, so that gives me my cinder block look. And I think what I'll actually do is do this. I'll do that because what I want to show right here is that this bottom one has to be filled. So I'm going to have it stick out past the rest. So I'm already starting to think about how this is going to look in 3D. So I might start actually pulling some of this stuff like this. So I can look at how this is all meeting in 3D. And then I want to represent that this is supposed to be filled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a rectangle right here. I'm going to offset that rectangle like maybe not much. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch.
After you do this next step, you've got your first save comment. Save.
Wow. You guys let me get half an hour in. I blame you.
Yeah, well, you said earlier that the best ones are the ones that go wrong. So what are we going to do? Like help you? Thanks.
See, that's kind of proven. It's proven that you guys want me. You want to see me hurt. All right. I'm gonna also do this. So what I would probably do is I'll grab this and I'll give it, my concrete color because it's supposed to be filled with concrete. Just for fun because I can give it a little. It looks like it's a hard block right now, so I might do something like this. I might go. All right. I'm gonna push this down just a little, and I'm gonna offset this just a little, and then I'm gonna move this inside ring up here just a little, so I get that little rounded corner on there. And I'm gonna select it all and just soften it up.
I was going to ask like actually right before you did that, are you going to, do you hide edges as you go, or is that something you might come back in at the end stylistically and say, no, this really doesn't need an edge, this shouldn't have one?
Yeah, I think you can make the call. I think with this, like I said, I want that rounded corner. I want this to look soft. I want this to look mounded. It's something actually I would maybe also do with earth or something like that. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to also group that real quick. But yeah, because that gives that the look of, that it's poured in there, and then that sort of thing. Not totally not necessary, but yeah, an option.
And speaking of styles, is this something where you would bring ambient occlusion in to test it, or was that
Oh
something that you
heck
go
yeah!
in? Or do we want to avoid that? I'm just wondering, if stylistically, you have that option now, and I wonder what that would do for
Like I said,
what you're trying to achieve.
I don't want to plan here. Let's just do it and find out. Maybe this is horrible. Let's see. Oops, wrong one.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I mean, well, so what? Try it, doesn't work, you back it up.
That's right. Worst case, we can unclick the box.
Oh man, I think maybe pull it back a little bit, but that's
yeah.
pretty.
It does look a little.
Sweet.
Well, I think one of the things that we want to make sure is this won't be here, so.
Yes, there won't be any of that extra shadow along the back. Sorry, I pulled that out too soon. Should have done it at the end when you had a little more stuff, because then you would have been like,
I like it.
The impact. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm working this view. That's good stuff. All right. So I'm going to grab these two, option copy them back here. And the other thing. So I'm trying to think too, because like I have these in here. I do want to show that there's going to be some mortar in here between the two as well. I'm trying to. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Teddy. I don't need you anymore.
She's supervising construction, so
yeah,
it's actually an OSHA violation for her not to be there.
All right. We got our papers back. Now we can let the supervisor leave. But yeah, let's also take just an extra step to get. Dang! I mean, come on. This is already looking pretty sweet. Sorry. Move on.
You're getting the comments if you're not following the chat. They're all saying AO is knocking out of the park. So let's keep going.
That looks pretty cool. All right, so this is just going to add another level for that ambient occlusion to sit on. I am going to put mortar on here. I'm just going to make a square like this. I'm going to take that square and I'm going to scoot it back ever so slightly. Let's see. Let's go like, yeah, 1/4 inch. That sounds good. I'll pull it across here. That's weird. Why is that not snapping to the face? Okay, that's weird. Let's push that back in another 1/4 inch. Yes. All right. And then I want to pull it. I'm trying to decide exactly how I want these bricks to look. To be totally honest, I'm designing for looks right now. Go to here.
Well, otherwise we would just stick with the CAD detail if we were just, you know what I mean?
Like, that's right.
I should be doing kind of the goal is to make this thing look cooler and also communicate more.
Yeah, that's right.
More better.
More better.
I like to say.
More gooder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More gooder.
Back to here and then pull it out 1/4 inch. I don't know. I'm deciding. I'm deciding how I want to do this. There's not a. Again, we're just kind of. Nope, that can't go back that far. Oh, but I can't pull this one down to here.
I was going to say, you could put it. Yeah, it's hard. You can't really do it though, because you could put it into the component, and it would show up on each one. But then, problem is you've got that stagger step.
Yeah.
So you don't really want the mortar to show where it's sticking out, like overhanging.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I was thinking, Eric. Is because I want to be able to, in this model, like if I need, for whatever reason, in the final model, if I want to just stair step of all the bricks because it's big enough, then I want to be able to go and delete those. But I think this is going to work for right now. So I'll pull this one down here, and then I'm going to go ahead and give that the darker color.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's no floating CMU.
Right.
So we need to make sure that everything feels attached or grounded.
That's right. Cool. All right. I like that. That's kind of fun. That's looking good. I'm going to pull a couple things out here. I'm going to grab my two pipes, and I'm just going to use scale. X-ray to grab my handle, and then pull those out. I'm going to pull those out at least as far as my slab, like that. Because these are literally just linear extrusions, this was just a 2D shape pulled, scaling is the same as push-pull for what I'm doing right now. So I'll do the same thing here. I'll grab these two and scale that too. My handle's on the inside again. Sometimes I can kind of guess and grab my handle like that. I pull that out just past the slab, something like that. So you can see these pieces going together. And I did a video on how scale versus push-pull affects things like materials. You can check that if you have any questions about that.
Yeah, so if you're doing a little minor stretch, but if you're going to do a really big move, you probably want to go into the component and actually use the either push pull or the move tool.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, I have this cove piece right here, so I'm going to go ahead and go like this. I'm going to draw a line like that, and I'm going to draw another line up to, I don't want to go all the way up. I'm going to go up like this far, and then I'm going to make that into a group. You can make a group so you can do two ways of making a group. You can start a group with nothing. Everything's empty. You can just start a group. But if you want to put something into a group, you have to have at least two things. So that's why I drew two edges first, did that. Now I can come in, and when I come in, it kind of grays everything else out. Or I can even toggle that. I can say hide everything and just let me work here in my group. And I just want to get a curve right there. Awesome. And then I'm going to temporarily close that. I'm closing it because what I want to do is I want to offset just these edges a little bit to give myself some depth on that cove. I can get rid of that. There we go. And then, oops, I can pull that out.
Wait, I missed that. What is that exactly?
It is my cement cove.
What is? I don't know what that. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just. That's what it is. All right, everyone. There you go.
Yeah, I wasn't. Again, CMU wall is not something that we build with in Colorado. Just about everything is poured concrete foundations. So I'm not 100%. I'm assuming this is some sort of a barrier that separates the concrete wall from the earth, which would be the next thing filled in. So, yeah, but I'm just being totally transparent. I like to be honest. I don't know what that is. So,
all right, let's go with that. It's like a protection barrier.
It's a thing. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me the thing, a waterproofing membrane. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I figure it was something along those lines. I'm going to give it, again, a color that kind of stands out a little bit. Something I have seen, just to throw out, something that I've seen people do in these kinds of models too is actually take photos of the material and put that on there. So I have seen stuff like house wrap or a foundation membrane with the name that's actually on there, so it looks like the material that's on site. That is that's okay. The downside, so I guess it really depends on the work you're doing. If you're working somewhere where like here, if we were to draw a detail of exterior of a house, I guarantee it would have that white Tyvek paper with the word Tyvek on it. And if they weren't using that, they're using some other version of it, they would know what it was. If I'm doing this for some place in the country that I don't know, or another country or something like that, I might want to stay away from something that looks specific, because they might not have that exact stuff wherever that is. So your call. That's kind of up to you on how you do that. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty cool. One thing I want to play with, I don't know if I'm going to use this or not, but I want to see what happens if I put one last entity around there that is the fill dirt. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start by coming in here. I'm going to grab that and the curve and this edge right here. I'm going to copy it, come out of context, edit, paste in place. And I'm going to go from the end of that piece and I'm going to trace around. I miss that click. Sometimes I get excited with the 3D mouse and I start moving just as I'm about to click because I'm trying to be incredibly efficient with everything I do at all times. And it causes a problem and then it shows to be very inefficient. So I just did that there too. Don't touch. No touchy.
I thought this was actually the fun part, where after you kind of have the structural component, you get to kind of get a little loosey-goosey with the fill soil, because the point is that you just draw enough of a boundary that shows that it's sitting in soil, knowing the fact that you can't use, like a cut line like you would for an architectural element. This is sort of represents that it continues on.
Exactly.
And because obviously it's ground, it would keep going.
Use this sand and then just kind of pull it out like that. Actually, don't like that sand very much. Let me try another. I think that's what I already. That's somewhere else. What was that, bark? That's not the right direction. Don't build this in a tree. Yeah, I guess I'll go sand.
I think that's probably, but it continues up though, or I guess maybe you can always add on to it later, right?
Yeah.
If you want. Or does it? Yeah, the way they drew it, they kind of broke it right there, but
yeah,
then
I gotta
kind of continued. Yeah,
I have a break right here.
yeah, right.
Which is okay. I mean, this could be pieces taken on, but I think for this piece right here, I kind of feel like I have done what it was looking for. I'm gonna pull this out a little bit further. So again, knowing that I want that to go further because again, as the layers show. But that was pretty cool. This doesn't have a clear one side that's good to show from. So I'm trying to figure out where would be the best spot. I need to do this. I need to take this. No, actually, I think I'm good. I've got this all that I need. So I'm going to go make this a group. I'm going to slide it over so I can look at this in its entirety. Okay, so I think some things I would do at this point, now I'm at this point. Probably take this slab back further. Come all the way back to here. Probably take all of these. Oops, did I not make this a group? I did not. Ooh. All of these and scale them. Bring them back to here. Just a little bit deeper. Grab maybe these two, these 3 blocks. Bring them back like this. And then what I would probably do here too is with these 3 is probably just chop them in half. So come into this one, pull that down like that. Delete these, and then I can just drop this one.
I might have missed when you were making those. Were they components or?
I haven't made anything a component because my thinking was, in this case, I don't know what my thinking was, but for whatever reason, there was a thought in my head where I went, should I make this a component? And then I chose not to. I don't know what exactly the reasoning was, but that's what I did. So there we go.
A question in the chat came in. It wasn't a question, it's more of a suggestion that, like, when you cut through something, do you think you'd apply a hatch pattern or something different than the standard material to indicate that you're cutting through it? Or do you think that's something that's just one level that we don't really need at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that's in these cases, I feel like the end material works fine. Like, I think as I look at this, uh, I feel pretty good with the way these pieces are because these blocks are just ending. The concrete's kind of the same. I wouldn't put a section like a fill material on that in 3D. So I think this looks good. There are some things where people are used to seeing that, like if I look at an end of a stud. So here I have this sill as these two studs laying flat. I would probably put the X on the end there. Um, so
Yeah,
it
so in a
depends.
specific case, it might
Mm-hmm.
make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And I know
Let's.
there's an extension. I know you, and I know you're doing this in native tools, but there isn't that extension scalp. I haven't used it, but isn't that kind of what that's for? It's for cutting sections, and then it's also for applying materials to section faces.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what Scalp does. Scalp does uh, a different level of what section fill does in SketchUp. But it gives you like patterns and stuff, and it does a really cool job. So if you do a lot of sections that you create and make details out of, so it's really designed for this, taking a 3D model and creating this view of it, because it will go in and will let you put in like, yeah, your brick section, your your insulation squiggle. It'll do that kind of stuff on there. So as we're doing it manually, it's kind of up to us how much we want to emulate that look and feel.
And that also, this is another point, I think, for someone who maybe is joining the chat later, is that this could also be something, if you know you're going to lay out, you may want to wait and apply a pattern fill or a hatch fill in specific areas in your actual layout once you know what your scale is and once you know what your page is. I think it just gives you a little measure of control, or it gives you just another layer to work with if that's something that works for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, let's come up. So I'm going to call this one section did for now. This is did. We did it. So again, like just to reiterate, there's some additional pieces that I didn't put in. We didn't actually have anchor bolt callouts for the bottom, so I didn't do any anchor bolts here or anything tying the bottom of the CMUs to the concrete because they weren't there in the detail. As we do this next piece, you can see up here, we do actually have anchor bolts coming through to the sill plate. So we'll add that right there.
It's okay. We got rid of Teddy, our supervisor. So you can go ahead and omit things.
That's right.
That are
Teddy's gone. Let's go.
Or time.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to grab one. Actually, I'm going to grab two. I'm going to grab 2 blocks. And then I'm going to paste those right here. And this is what we're going to start with. So it looks like what we got. And a lot of the materials are being called out in these notes. So not individual layers aren't being tagged, but like right here, we have a sill sealer. It's just calling out that that's there. Anchor straps just being called out here rather than specifically called out there. So here we have 12-inch CMU, and then on top of that, 8-inch, reinforcing 8-inch, 24-inch. So yeah, so we have some of the details are in these blocks of text, and they're not specific things being called out. But what I'm reading, what I'm getting, is that we had 12-inch for the foundation here, and then this wall, after the brick ledge starts, we actually have 8-inch material, and then 4-inch brick veneer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to come up. What did I do here? 3/8 of an inch? All right. So I'm going to take these, bring them up 8 3/8. Let's see. I'll still do the stagger. We'll still offset these like this. these ones will get shrinked. Oops, too much. I grabbed too much.
Well, there's your advantage of not using the components. You don't have to make it unique. You just go for it.
That's right. It's one of the spots where thinking just causes problems. Sometimes you just need to go.
I try to be smart sometimes and like plan stuff in advance, and then I find myself later like editing a component accidentally, not realizing that I just now screwed everything up because that one component was supposed to be unique, and now it just changed everything.
Yeah. I would be lying if I didn't say that. Yeah,
That's happened. Yeah.
that's the thing. All right. I'm assuming we're going to want to show concrete fill in these top ones because we have anchor bolts into embedded. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle, offset that by 1/8 of an inch. Get rid of those extra lines. I'm trying to keep these clean too, getting rid of extra lines and stuff. So bring this up like this, push it down, offset it, move it up. Fill the whole thing with dark concrete. Soften it. Oops, these ones got a different center spacing.
We're all watching with bated breath.
What does that mean? Does anybody know what that came from? How do I bait my breath?
I don't know, but I heard recently. Can I ramble
Oh,
for
please,
just a
please
minute?
do.
Okay, so I heard that like if you put put a frog in a pot of boiling water, and like it's kind of a message for
Right.
like how we can get caught up in things and we don't realize it. We say that a frog will jump out if you just slowly turn the temperature up. It'll be like it's too hot and it'll just pop out. So I don't like that we've been using that expression for a long time and it's incorrect, because like as much as I don't want to see a frog boil, I also I also want truth in our expressions. At least some measure of truth. I know that there may be a hyperbole or whatever, but at least start with some measure of truth.
Sure, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Bats in your belfry. That's one that I think is a fun one. I don't know where I know that one came from somewhere, but we just don't have belfries. I think I mentioned that in the last stream, so I'll leave it there. We've already covered that one.
I've
Uh,
what's that term about metaphors don't bear close inspection or something like that?
I don't know if I looked that one up. Keggy chimes in. He says that it means a bait means to restrain. So basically means we're with bated breath means we're all holding our breath, which makes sense because that's kind of what when you're anticipating something or when something's tense or quiet,
That makes a lot of sense. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
I
I
love
got
having
my.
this chat because I don't even need to type into Chat GPT because I have my own Chat
That's
GPT
right.
right here. They just answer my questions, and I don't even have to type. I just speak, and it's great. So you've been making bricks while we were talking about the
Chat
origin of
genius people time. That's yeah. I'm thinking with this brick, rather than coloring it, if I just grab one of the existing bricks and orient the material right, I shouldn't have to. There we go. See that? I just orient the material so that one face is on all of them. Now I can pick just that. And I'm not so lucky. We should be able to do it on the bottom though. Nope. Man.
Yeah, you'd think that just what works on the top works on the sides, but unless Well, sometimes, projected texture works, even if it's pulled, even if it's stretched, and sometimes you got to go in and actually do what you're doing
Yeah.
is make
Sometimes
it
you gotta work and do
exactly.
it right. Yeah, I get it.
Sometimes you got to like slow down and take the step to ensure that it, is correct.
Not my strong suit. All right, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna make that texture projected. That way I can copy it from here and apply it to let's hide everything else. Apply it to their side, and then same thing here. Whoop, changed. Just like that, and apply that to the other side. Right there. All right, there. With that, now we have nice brick textured bricks.
As opposed to grass textured bricks or
Right. Yeah, nothing silly like that.
fur
Yeah.
texture. Yeah, makes sense. I'm with you.
Fur bricks. That sounds interesting. All right, I'm gonna grab that. Option copy that up to here. That's not right. That's not right at all. There we go. All right. And then I'm just placing a little line so I can snap real quick. This is just a 1/4 inch. So I can grab all of these guys.
Yeah, how far up are you going? I guess you got to figure out how many at some point. Yeah, it looks like it actually has a stopping point instead of a cut line.
Too much. It goes up to what looks like a windowsill right there. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to pull up that far. There we go. I got a couple edges in here I want to get rid of. Where was that? Second one. Delete. And there's one right here. Delete. So these I did make this a component this time, and I'm going to grab all of them and just group them so it'll make them easier to handle or turn off if I need to. For example, I put nothing between the two. There is no grout, there is no nothing, and that's not going to work.
Zero gravity bricks.
That's right. They'll hold themselves. The weight will hold themselves up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That always works. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I also need to get my grout in here. So I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to draw a rectangle like that. I'm going to move it. Oops. Here, I'll start by giving myself something 3D to work with. Sometimes it's easier to just get a blob in place, like conceptual masking. I guess that's what this is. This is conceptual masking for 3D modeling. Get something in there that you can move around as opposed to try to get like anything perfect to start with. So by doing this, now I can say, okay, now take this and move that in. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch is fine. Do the same thing over here. Right here, let's pull it back to here and then go another 1/8 of an inch in. There we go. And then up here where it didn't make it through, I can pull that up. Why is this top course not where it's supposed to? Why is this top course in a different spot? Huh. I don't know, Aaron. We didn't model it. You did.
When you were copying up, do you think your whole module is tilting?
Tapered? Or this is not square? All right, let me make this into a group. Click in here and see if I didn't make this.
See if that is.
I hope. Yeah, crap, it's right. That means yes. The only thing wrong is all the bricks.
Yeah, that's okay.
Neat.
Kind of want your bricks right because that's actually the side that everyone can see. Not that you want your structural wrong, but it is, it does face the public.
All right, so I'm going to delete everything except for these two. No big deal. Everything's cool.
I actually wanted to see this step again because this is important. It's okay to do it more than once. Repetition means that it's going to get logged into the psyche, the deeper part of the brain.
That's right.
Subconscious.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely true. It makes me feel a little bit better. All right, there we go.
Nice bricks.
Thanks.
That's what Randy said. I'm repeating his
Okay.
comment.
Oh. Give me this.
Transom's telling you to save again when you're done with this step.
So many things to do. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
So
I
now
know. We got some backseat modelers here that are like trying to tell you your business.
Oops. I missed a course. There we go. And that means we got to take this down. Nope. Pull this down, and then I'll turn everything back on. Go to here, and then push it back up.
That's a handy little shortcut. That's one, a hide rest model. That's one that I don't use as much as I should. And that's smart to have it on shortcut, because otherwise it's not really that useful to go up to the window and say, oh, let's go into model info and make that change there.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so now we got a couple things. One thing we got, all right, I'm gonna, what's my gap here? 9/16. I don't like that. I'm gonna pull this over here. You're just gonna come straight out. As long as, sometimes when you're moving something off to the side, rather than hiding it, you just want to keep it on, but you want to move it over. That's cool. One thing I'd say is like put it in a specific dimension, like say, I'm going to move this over 10 feet. And that way when I move it back, I know it's exactly 10 feet. In this case, it's in the wrong spot on the red axis. Green and blue, it's right where it should be, but red's wrong. So I'm just going to slide it over. I don't care how far I slide it over as long as I stay on the red axis. That way, when I get my my fill in there, I can bring it in and snap it right into where it's supposed to be. So what I got here is a grout fill line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go start right here at, we'll do it like this. We'll come here, come out to this, and then we will go all the way up to here, top of this brick. And then I need I'll just make it a 1/2 inch.
What's the difference between grout and mortar?
The way they're spelled.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, 2 different words.
I have no idea.
Aware of that.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
All right. I should have expected that. I'm asking the chat. Forget you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, chat GPT.
Help us out.
Let's go.
Help us out.
Yeah.
Aaron is not helpful. Okay. So now I can grab this and I can slide it back in again, staying on the red until I hit this face. And there we go. Make that a group. Cool. I think I'm going to do a thing here. I'm going to take this and this. And I'm going to option copy this out because I want this to stick out further. I want my big brick right here to obviously be out here further. I'm going to pull this out like this. I don't know, something like that. Actually, what maybe makes more sense in this, again, for visualization's sake, so I can see the pieces, is to break this into 2 separate pieces. I'm kind of thinking that vertically and horizontally, I got 2 different things going on here. So I might grab this, make that a group, and then separate from that, whoops, grab that, make that a group. Come in here, make sure that's closed up. Come in here, get rid of this extra line. And that way, with those 2 pieces separate, then I could actually, oh, I gotta explode that now. I can take this one, scale this one back, scale this one out. And I might even go the extra mile here and do what I did before and round the corner. I don't know if I'd actually, well, probably just like this. Probably this is enough. Just round that off like that. So when I come out here, I don't have those hard corners on there.
Makes sense. And while you're still on grout, which is actually, I think this one is mortar, because mortar is, according to the chat, is more to adhere the object, the tile or the brick, to a surface, and the grout is the thing that fills the gaps in between the tiles. And that's actually what I thought, but I didn't want to sound stupid, so I'm going to go ahead and say I knew that. But thanks, chat, for coming in and saving the day again.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So they are not the same thing. That's what we learned.
Sounds like that's true. Okay.
Okay.
So I need to put, I almost said mortar just to be obstinate, but I'll put grout between these pieces right now. There's a different way to do it because I want to get that little 1/4 inch inset. So I'm just going to grab this. So while I have this face right here, I'm just going to grab that, give me my face, and I'm going to offset it now, 1/4 inch. Delete that and get rid of that outline. And then I can scoot that through. And then again, same thing, push it in 1/4 inch, push it in 1/4 inch. Guess I might want to do something right here though. All right, it's coming together. It is coming together. All right, now what we got is we're going to have a sill sealer piece sitting on top of this, and then a double 2x material there that will have come out as the sill plate, some anchor bolts coming from in the concrete up into this member, and then that'll support our floor system across here. Sweet. Oh, and we're also going to have, so we'll have sheathing and then the vapor barrier between the brick and the framing. So let's work backwards. I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle right here on the face. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch is fine. And that's going to be my vapor barrier. And I'll draw another rectangle right on top of that rectangle. Pull that out a distance. Make that a separate group, and that's going to be my sheathing. Fortunately, I got a material made just for sheathing. It's this janky looking wood material. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
It's a little greenish, but
it does.
But otherwise,
it also looks
yeah,
like low res by comparison. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to select, and I am going to what's going on? Just pick that. Just the one. Why can't I position my texture? It's odd. Huh. Oh, because I got a video on that too. I textured the group.
I'm actually a culprit. I do that all the time. Texture on the outside. So
it was great. Then he sat there like a jerk and tried to figure out what he'd done wrong. All right. I'm gonna position it. All right.
It's not working.
There we go. Now it looks like he's flying. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. So what I probably want to do then is, again, scale this, bring my vapor barrier out a little bit further than the brick. Actually, I probably take this back, scale this back this way, sheathing. And yeah, actually, now that I look at it, I probably do need to come in here and grab 2 more courses. I'm using that term right? I'm not a brick guy, so I think you can have a course of bricks. I think that's the way you're supposed to say it.
I think that works. We'll go with that.
Okay, I like that. Indifferent complacency.
Now, I was thinking, did you want to like step the bricks back as you go up at all to like
Probably.
show, or do you think that makes sense to show that as see, here I am, I'm telling you your business.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Because you're stepping the CMU, and so my OCD says step the bricks.
No, I think you're right. I think what I need to do is I'm orienting stuff right now where what I probably need to do is get the rest of this modeled first and then come back and do that. So
and chip away at it.
Yeah.
That's kind of, there's kind of the there's the build up, and then there's the sort of remove, or there's the take away method.
Right.
The deconstruction method.
Sculpting. So this is a 6 and a 16th wide. So I'm going to assume this is supposed to be a 2x6. So I'm going to say 5.5. Again, probably not a big deal in the grand scheme, but I don't know what side. Everything else is scaled, like seemed to kind of work, but this is maybe this isn't, what they drew was an actual 2x6. It's actually 2 inches by 6 inches as opposed to an inch
nominal
and a half.
Nominal size.
Yeah, which is a little odd, little weird. I'll be honest. Wasn't ready for that one. All right, so I'm gonna slide this over like that. I'm gonna make that into a group, and then I'm gonna copy it up here. And this is what I was saying was what I might do. Come in here, and we'll fill this with a wood texture. I used my one good wood texture that I like to use on this. I'm a big fan, honestly, of get your own textures. I think if you're gonna be relying on texture to show something, you should really go take some pictures of some real materials and use those as opposed to using our default textures. They work to get the message across, but yeah, if you want them to look awesome, go take some pictures.
I think Tyson's got a video where he took pictures of his own lumber. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Like he just laid it out on his garage floor, and he did it with different light conditions because sometimes you get reflection, sometimes you don't. And so he showed like why you might use one and how it works. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. This will work in a pinch though. All right, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to replace this white one with this one. And like I was saying, this is a spot where I might do some 2D symbolism or some 2D symbol because I want to have an X here on the end as I look at it, just because, I don't know, we'll put it on and it might work, it might not. There's a couple ways I could do it. One is I could just draw a line. So I could do this, and that might look okay. Yeah, I guess for what it is, that's kind of the best way to do it. I'd say the other thing you could do is you could literally go in and it's okay. I don't love it, but it's okay. The reason being, this indicates that this is a section cut of a longer piece. It's not supposed to end here. I don't know in the theme of looking at a detail if that matters. I'm gonna go without it and see how it looks. But it's an option. We got options. That's really the thing, right? So we're looking at options.
Well, and you may turn edges off. I mean, I don't know that you would, because I think this is diagrammatic, and maybe we need that definition. But
right.
if you did choose to turn edges off, then of course you would lose that. So you just got to keep that in mind as well.
Right. All right, and then I have my sealer material here. Get a new group. This is another one of those things where I would probably just grab a bright color. I think I've seen this stuff in green and in pink. Yeah, maybe just something like that. It looks as big as the 2x material, so maybe I'll shrink that down a little bit more. Slide it in a little bit more. All right. But it's obvious indication that there's another piece of material there. Thing to remember with details is that's what we're looking for. We're really shouldn't be getting too hung up on exact information, exact framing. It's more of that these things are here. Exact dimensions don't really matter because, like I said, they're going to change based on the actual job. But enough to indicate, yes, there's a piece there. There's something there. That's the important part. Scale these all back together. I do want to make sure that my anchor bolt is popping right up here, and then we'll duplicate it further back. We're getting there. It's all coming together. The other piece that's going to be here is we're going to have this rim board right here on the floor system. So I'm going to grab this, flip that up, and then, oh,
spaghetti-o. Yeah, we got a little. Well, because you did go smaller, so now you got to think about the impact of, because you went what you think is the proper size as opposed to just drawing to what the detail shows. So then you're going to be off as you go up.
Yeah.
There's what we call a ripple effect, folks.
That's right. I rippled it. All right. So I'm going to do this it's like a 2x10. So right now I have what, 5.5 inches. So I need it to be 9.25. I think we've already vented about nominal versus actual size of materials, so we don't have to get into it again, but still stupid. All right.
No, but now you're stuck with a decision about whether you drop like if you look at what's above you, right? You either need to drop that flooring or you need to, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's not, yeah, you get it,
Yeah, it's gonna look fine once we turn off that 2D detail. It'll all look just
You'll
fab.
Never know.
That's right. I'm not going to get too hung up on spacing here either. So let's see, where does 16 inches on center put me? Okay, that was good. I'll leave that like that. Cool. And then I'll grab this feller right here. Representing that flooring.
Is that a subflooring? What would that be?
Yeah.
Because there's another material on top of that, isn't there?
Yeah. I don't know if that's supposed to be.
So that's the interior I'm trying to figure out myself. So this is, you've got the exterior to the left, and then now we're inside what you're kind of doing now. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, because I mean, I would expect we'd have some sheathing. I'm not sure why there's two pieces here. I don't know. At least stuff I've done, haven't had that been the case. But all right, let's keep moving. I'm gonna save. All right, let's get a couple of anchors in here. Where's my center line? Here we go. Here's the center here. So right about there is where I would center my bolt. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a circle where that's going to be. Pull that up a little bit. And again, this is another one of those details where I'm okay drawing this washer and bolt and everything a little bit exaggerated, so it stands out. When I'm looking at it right here, there's not going to be a question of, what's that? Did somebody drop a quarter? So I'm okay going a little bit fat on this stuff right here. I'm going to bring that back like that, and then I'm going to draw a polygon from the middle of that, like that. All right, there we go. So something like that. Yeah, That's pretty easy to tell what that is. Grab all of that and give it a nice... There's no way it's going to ever in its entire life look like actual metal. It'll always be brown, blackish, gross looking, but you know what it is. And I'm going to use this one. Did I make that a group? I did not. Make it a group. And I'm going to slide it over from the middle of this one right here to the middle of this one here. I know that this is not the actual spacing, but this was what will be visible. And then I will take this circle, Option copy it vertically to the bottom of this whole thingy here. Pull it down like that. There we go. I'm feeling a little congested, feeling a little tight. Like maybe this is my detail. Maybe this is it. But I think there's some stuff I can do.
Well, the cool thing about this is that, because it's so complex, one detail now, in this case, you put so much more work into it than rather to a straight up section cut. You can show it from multiple angles, right? You can show from left to right, or you can show from,
Sure.
You can show the whole thing at a distance, and then you can zoom in just on that screw bolt if for some reason you needed to put emphasis.
Absolutely. That is a great point. So the other thing that's in here is it is calling out there's insulation here. I always question, this is one of those things I'm like, do we really got to point that out? I mean, but yeah, we will because they did. I'm going to up the ante on the whole rounded over geometry thing. And I'm going to, let's make this a group. I'm going to make this look like straight up cotton candy shoved in here. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put a little arc on the corner here, copy it to the other four corners.
Is that what the kind of zigzaggy looking, I don't know what to say, like the kind of horseshoe reverse curve is? That's representing insulation.
Right.
All right. I want to see how you do this. This will be fun. I've not modeled cotton candy myself. I probably wouldn't. It'd probably be too heavy from a polygon perspective.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. So yeah, I maybe I'm overstating a little bit, but yeah, if we do that and we soften that thing up, and then we give it
what color is insulation? Is it? Oh yeah, it does kind of a pinkish color, isn't it?
It is, but that's a little heavy. We could probably go a little lighter.
Yeah. You got the color wheel if you need it.
That's right. There we go.
Oh, by the way, I know we're going to get this comment because I get it every single time. Those crayons, that's the Mac OS interface thing. It's just driven by the Mac OS. You just have to, if you're PC, sorry, no crayons.
No crayons for you.
No crayons.
I'm going to bring this out like this. Show me hidden lines. So I can take this. There we go. So with that,
the chat is getting, the chat has a lot of good details that I'm not passing along as far as the proper color for insulation and whether it's spray foam or not. So just letting you know, if you do need some, if you want to go to the next level, we've got some people who
I'll keep that in
more
mind.
than happy to chime in.
All right, so I know I still have to build my little wall stub sticking up here, but before I do that, I want to talk about something I have seen in 3D details that I appreciate. So I've kept everything square up till now, but like we did over here, we did step some stuff and we stepped these up. So I'm kind of thinking one of the things I might do right now is I may actually come in here and start angling my sheets because I want to step my bricks down too. Same thing here with this floor. I'd rather have this floor come out this way like this and then kind of angle back, right? So it'd be like a 45-degree angle, cut that off here. So I want to try that and see how that looks. Also, I ran this right through the other side and apparently I was okay with that. All right, so I'm going to come out to about here-ish, and I'm going to grab that and rotate that 45 degrees. There's no magic to 45 degrees. I think most designers recognize a 45-degree cut and feel good about it, so I'm doing 45 degrees. And then what I can do is I can kind of start to align my cut in my detail to that 45-degree angle. So I can come in here, push this back so it sticks out about the same amount as this one, grab this, show me my hidden lines, grab this section, scoot it back so it's just inside there.
There was a comment, and I was thinking the same thing earlier with the CMU, is that you could put a section into a particular group if you wanted to do a cut. But if it's do you know what I mean? So that way you kind of have the choice to show it as if you're cutaway versus modifying the geometry. So nice to know we have options.
That's right. We got options. That's the important part. And then maybe I'll do the same thing here. I'll come up.
Transom says you can also, if you wanted to make it look more schematic, you could also use a freehand tool to, instead of the 45, just show that to the cutaway. Sometimes that's drawn in CAD like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally fair. I agree with that. I don't like that look. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that is there's kind of I mean, it's probably on here. There's this, accepted this little thing right here. This little squiggle indicates that something's being cut in the detail. That's a way to do it too. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm not gonna do that. You can't make me.
Well, you are in charge. Yes, all we can do is suggest and comment from the peanut gallery, and then ultimately it's your model.
That's right. Occasionally I'm in charge, and I'm abusing that power right now.
Yeah, it's all right. You've done this before, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and trust you on this one.
No, this is obviously, if something made it easier to see, we'd want to do that. But yeah, that's looking kind of cool. I have some mixed emotions on the bubblegum, but overall, I like it. I like the way this is in.
Yeah, the way it's kind of peeling back, and you can definitely see that it's revealing itself, all these layers and layers.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do, it's already 1:30, so we're getting close to where I need to think about wrapping things up, and I'm feeling pretty good about where this looks. And I want to take credit for this, but at the same time, I'm not giving you credit. Don't worry, guys. Don't stress. But I got to say, ambient occlusion, wow. Like, seriously, ambient occlusion looks awesome.
Well, do you want to turn it off real quick?
Yeah,
so for those that didn't see in the beginning, maybe you're chiming in a little late.
We hot garbage. Come on, ew.
No, it's still cool. It's still cool. It's a different aesthetic. It's flat versus depth, and it just depends on what you want to communicate.
I'm kidding, and I would have said that if it's anybody's model but my own. But yeah, it really does just. It's just that next level of depth, like we know we're looking at a 3D model. We know that, we get that, but adding that ambient occlusion just gives the feeling of depth. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it.
Also, too, the other thing is we haven't seen this. I mean, you're showing it as sort of realistic materials, but you may want to, depending on the construction set, actually, like a lot of them are printed in black and white for cost reasons. So you may want to also, you don't have to do this now, but I'm saying this to the chat, be thinking about how it reads in hidden line style, because that may be the way it's printed at the end of the day. But then again, you can still take advantage of the AO with hidden line and really get a cool look.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, in my head when I said AO, I was yelling it. Heyo.
Ew.
I'm channeling Matt. We were asked for some sound effects earlier on, and I was like,
There you
no,
go.
that's not really my thing, but I'm going to throw in some AOs every now and then.
That works. That works just great for me. I'm good with that. All right, and this we'd actually want to continue up further. I'll scroll away. I did that all wrong. Try that again. Boop. All right. All right. You don't have to worry about cut size because I don't really care about that. Sometimes there's things that happen in real jobs that like we get to blow off, and that's fun. Take this down. And this should probably go at least as high as the brick.
That makes sense.
It does. It does make sense.
It makes sense.
All right, there we go. Getting rid of extra lines. I'm doing this right.
Yeah, who knows? You never know when you need to do solid tools later.
That's right. It could happen. All right, it's looking pretty good. They do have drywall on here, and they do have insulation in here again. So I might go like this.
I'm craving some chewing gum right now though.
Seriously. Bazooka.
Yeah, exactly. A bazooka. Oh man, the bazookas are always so hard to chew.
That's just abusive.
The fact that you get the little comic thing, it's like kids back a long time ago. Let me say, kids nowadays they're not impressed by very much. But like when I was little, you throw a little comic in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the hard gum.
Had some characters who I didn't know what they were half the time what they were talking about, but oh, that was so cool to get to read that little waxy piece of
5 seconds.
Yeah.
I know. And then Laffy Taffy, did you remember those? They have jokes in
Yes.
them. That was fun. We would just go and read the jokes. Half of them we wouldn't get. They weren't funny, but that wasn't the point.
Right.
It was that you got a joke and a piece of candy.
That's right. What does that mean? I
don't know. I still tell my daughter, I just have one. She always says, tell me a joke. And I'm always like, oh man, I don't remember jokes, but I remember the one, which was a Laffy Taffy joke. And it's, how does an astronaut cut his hair?
How does an astronaut? I don't know. How does an astronaut not cut his hair?
Eclipse it. I just thought I always thought that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yep, I got it. Good stuff. I'll take it.
All right.
All right, back to this.
That's bubble gum. Okay.
No, good. It is good. Yeah, this is coming across pretty solid. I like this. The only thing, it's distracting to me how big this sticks out, so I'm kind of wondering if I can cheat this a little bit. Grab this and move it in so it matches or follows, close to follows. That 45. I went too far. Dang it. That's okay. Makes me kind of want to do the same thing here.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you did. Like it's if you give a mouse a cookie, you kind of got to be consistent. And a question about iPad while you're doing that in the chat, I can answer it. You can just keep going with it. There's nothing that we're doing here that you couldn't do on the iPad if you were comfortable and you enjoyed. I just want to make sure we clarify that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just it's not a functionality thing as much unless you're getting into some really hardcore extensions. It's really about workflow and portability. I know people who just swear it by the iPad because they're like, I'm doing it on a train and it's easier for me, or you're just doing a quick little thing.
Donovan on our team is a huge fan of SketchUp for iPad. He prefers it over desktop.
Yeah, and that's so hard because I love the idea of having it on the iPad, and I have it on the iPad, and then I'm just so ingrained, and it's just one of those things where you just got to sit down and
Yeah,
just sit down with it. But I love the idea of someone who's coming new into SketchUp and learning it for the first time. It's like you don't have that, 15, 18 years of
that's right.
ingrained muscle memory. So you just come
Conditioning.
in, exactly. You just start modeling, go for it.
Yeah. No, it's a great option to have for sure. All right. All right, I'm just gonna say it. That looks pretty cool. That those layers. Come here, 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 come here.
You calling it?
Yeah, come here. Yeah, I could. I'm trying to think what else I could do, but I don't think there's a whole lot I could do that would add more to what's here already. I feel like maybe this needs to go.
Question for shading for light. This is not from the chat, it's just from me, but do you
Mhm.
use sun for shading
Um,
in your shadow settings?
let's look.
I mean, because that's an option if you did want to control the brightness of, especially when you get into like the really tight spaces
Yeah,
that may read as a little dark with the AO on.
yeah. Let's play with that a little bit. I mean, it's 137, so I don't have time to do another one of these. The next piece would be like the where the column comes up, but I think we could do a little fine tuning here with this. I do like that use sun for shading because it does give you the ability to, especially when I have the big spot that I see this working is like I don't actually have any here, but like rounded set textures or rounded surfaces to really call out that they're rounded, especially if something's softened. Getting the light hitting it right, huge difference in that. So like right here, this is kind of it's kind of working with the pink shading, but you can kind of see where you can play with the softened surfaces, and that lighting has much more effect on there. I also realizing I need to come in here and apply. Did I apply to the outside again?
That's right. You stretched that one, didn't you? I don't think you were.
There we go.
I because then you expose the top afterwards.
Yeah, I think that was exactly what happened. There you go. That looks better. And like that, I was looking out of the corner of my eye and did not like the way things were happening. But yeah, that looks kind of cool. In fact, I'm going to try it. I don't know if this will work or not, but I could actually turn shadows on. I'm not really concerned with them on the ground, but I could, as I do this, I don't know if it'll help or hinder. Yeah, that doesn't really bring a whole lot to it, does it? No.
Not so much. It's really more about, yeah, just like if just giving that measure of control to lighten things up or darken things depending on your personal preference. I always call it salt to taste because I know we all
That's right.
have our own preferences.
Well, and the other thing, just to throw this out here, I will post these to the 3D Warehouse and put a link to the forum too, so you guys can play with this if you want. If you want to use it, that's cool. Just make checks payable to Aaron Dietzen, care of Trimble. No, I'm kidding. It's out there. It's for you guys. One of the things that like Nick Sonder does specifically is he will, in an individual detail like this, he'll turn on fog. And what he'll do is get that fog so that, I mean, it can only be done on an individual basis. I can't do it on both of them. He'll get it so that it knocks off the very back. The front shows up real well, and then the lower, further back parts just kind of disappear. I mean, I didn't build mine very deep. He builds his a little deeper, so the end cuts off a little bit better. But he'll actually make it so it looks like it calls attention to the part that you want to be seeing. So I want people to look at this part right here. And what the fog does is it just kind of says, and etc. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this stuff back there. Like I said, I didn't build mine very deep, so it doesn't really work great in this example, but you can see a little bit of fog there says, suggests that there's things going on beyond. So rather than do break lines, like we were talking about rather than doing that, having that fog says there's more back there, but you get it. It's more of the same kind of thing.
He would probably also, I'm guessing, from looking at his work, change the background color to white because that's the color of the paper. I know in layout, if you do go to layout, you can knock the background out, so you can just sort of bypass that. But if you aren't ready to go to layout, or if you're just going to send somebody a quick mock-up sample or something like that, and then that fog color being white and that background color being white, those two end up working as a team, like us, like you and me.
That's right.
Teamwork. Look at that. Oh, see, there you go.
See, there you go.
Now it's
now
I get what you're putting down.
So like I said, this wasn't really built for it. If I wanted to do this, I would probably grab, what do we got? We got a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and let's do it. I'm just gonna do it real quick. Just on this one. I'm gonna disable fog for a second. So if I come in here, grab this, I'm going to all go, nope, that didn't work because of the front. So I'll just push pull real quick. Pull these way back. Okay, then we'll come out here, grab these three guys, slide them over out of the way, and then grab this course.
Yeah, I don't think you don't have to go too far back, just a little bit more than I think you built, huh?
Yeah, not terribly far. Something like that. Okay. And then grab.
I think from a distance, you may not even be able to see that. We're going to go with mortar for these ones.
Yeah, probably extra work right there. It doesn't even matter.
But I love your attention to detail.
I'm trying. All right, so there we go. So something like that. And now if we turn on fog, you should be able to see what it is I'm talking about. All right, there we go. Yeah, buddy. That's the stuff.
Yeah, you just lose that back edge.
Right. It's just, like I said, it's just a suggestion that there's more back there that happens back there. I don't have to worry about it. More of the same. So kind of a cool way to do those details. So let me, like I said, I'm going to post this. So I'm going to save these into a couple scenes.
What does it look like with the hidden line, just to entertain me, just to satisfy my curiosity?
The only hidden
also,
lines
you're making
I have
people
is the pipe.
nervous with, if you haven't saved in a while, you're making some of our chat nervous.
Keep you guys on your toes.
There you go. There it is. There it is, folks. We're safe.
All right. Turn this, with that glowing white, I kind of want a little bit more intense.
Good call.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. All right, I'm gonna save that as a scene.
Smart.
All right, and then I'm gonna get the other one set up too. So with the other one, I'm gonna turn fog off. I'm gonna hide this one.
Do fog settings, are they scene specific? Remind me.
Yes. You can.
Right, so
it's
you
an
can
option.
have more than one fog depth in your model.
Oh,
do you know what
I don't know.
I don't use fog that often.
Yeah, I don't use fog very often either, so that's a guess for me. Boom, there we go. I'm gonna call it. That was fun. Save it. Yeah, so I'll put these details up on 3D Warehouse, link to them in our forum if you don't already spend time on there. It's forums.sketchup.com. Great place to go get questions answered, by the way. If you're new here and you're not aware of the amazingly supportive and interactive community around SketchUp. It's a great way to get involved. Head over to forums.sketchup.com. Read about what people are doing. Ask questions. It's an awesome spot that we're just to brag on. I mean, you guys, some of you guys who are listening, I'm bragging about you guys. We have a bunch of users who are just excited to share their knowledge with other users. So, yeah, definitely head over there if you're not already on the forums. And if you want to check out these details and play with them, they'll be there. They'll be waiting for you.
Can't wait.
Yeah. But that's it. Is there anything else we got to call out before we call this?
Nope, I'll do my usual. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll do my usual Basecamp shout out. So for those, we have our schedule up now. For those that don't know this, we said this last week, we plugged it, is that the schedule, what I mean is that you can start filling out your classes. If you are registered for Basecamp and you are coming, go in there and book your seat before somebody else does. Go get your classes set up. If you're not, well, consider coming. We'd love to see you. We'll be there. Right, Aaron? You'll be going to be there? I think you'll be there.
I'll spend a little time there. I'll come by. I'll stop by.
Yep. We'll talk about details.
That's right. Hey, maybe this will be a class. No, it's too late. We already put our classes in. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thanks for spending time. Come back next Friday. I don't remember. Are you doing?
I think I'm up. I've co-hosted twice in a row, so I think I'm due. I can't wait.
Awesome. It'll be fun. Come check out what Eric does next week. I'm going to keep it a surprise. I'm not saying we don't know what it is. I'm saying we're not telling you yet.
I'm inspired. It may be detail oriented. We shall see.
It could be. This would be kind of fun. Yeah, this is. I would love to see how you do your take on the same thing, or how you do it differently. So, awesome. Thank you all for hanging out with us. You guys have an amazing weekend. Enjoy yourself out there. Stay safe. Stay sane, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Great job, Aaron.
Thanks.
Ciao.